Liberty Lampoon, episode number 10, with Michael and Aaron.
Oh, the horror! Hitler, Stalin, Kim Jong-un, Castro, Barack Hussein Obama. All entirely horrific characters surrounded with death and destruction. But we think one guy here in America really took the cake. Went by the name of Woodrow Wilson. All that and more coming up on this Halloween episode of Liberty Lampoon. And, Michael, we made it to episode 10. Woo! I'll probably put some applause in there, right there.
All right.
You know that's good because that means that, most podcasts don't actually make it to episode 10. Most podcasts end. It's over half of podcasts end before episode 10. And I'm just super happy that we made it. And we thank all of you guys for listening. But it's Halloween.
Is it appropriate that we talk about death on the 10th episode?
Yeah. The 10th episode of the 10th month of the 10th year. I don't know. Sorry. Lapsing.
Welcome to Liberty Lampoon. Enter if you dare.
This is a spooky month, so we figured we'd talk about some spooky stuff. And to start out with, we want to talk a little bit about those evil fucks, the Nazis. Some of them have been making a comeback. There's one running for president, actually. What's his name again?
Now, which one is it?
Or what's her name? I don't know. There's two of them running for president, actually. Anyways, we're going to talk about the Nazis. That's right. Those cucks are making a comeback. So let's jump in the time machine and check out some of their stupid defenses during the Nuremberg trials. So after the war, I don't know if anybody knows what the Nuremberg trials were, but it was like people were on...
Sorry. Is there not going to be like a time machine sound or anything?
Well, yeah, there might be. Well, no, there's not going to be. I was talking about like verbally. We're doing a verbal time machine, Michael. Jesus Christ.
Oh, we're still recording right now?
Yeah, we're recording.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to edit that out. Are you crazy?
Oh.
We're uncensored, unfiltered, freedom and liberty.
So, have we already jumped in the time machine, or are we about to now?
We've gone back. We're talking about the Nuremberg trials to these people who are viewing it through the lens. That's what a time machine sounds like?
Yeah, it just got sucked back through time.
A turd getting sucked down a toilet bowl. That's what a time machine sounds like. It's probably not a very advanced. I thought that technology would advance to the point where we get cool sounds, but no, it just reverts back to turds getting sucked down toilet bowls.
Oh, you mean like a...
That's a nuke.
Oh, okay. All right.
That was horrific too. We could talk about it.
Those are the other ones I got. All right.
Okay, so...
Nuremberg. Something
folks,
something like Harvard.
You're standing to the right of us. You're looking at the Nuremberg trials right now. So Nuremberg trials. Michael, explain real quick what the Nuremberg trials were so that people can know what they're looking at right now.
Well, essentially... we've just had a Nazi officer walk into the courtroom. He is taking his seat on the stand, about to be questioned by the council.
And what are they questioning him about? I mean, is this what's the point of this? Is it for war crimes or anything else?
It is to determine whether he is guilty of war crimes that he was ordered to carry out while being in charge of a Nazi SS unit.
So after the war, the defense most Nazis used to explain their actions was superior orders defense. It became known afterwards as the Nuremberg defense. It basically alleges that the defendant had no choice but to commit war crimes because they were ordered to by higher office. To not obey orders would essentially be death, right? Would you agree with that, Michael?
Yeah, probably.
Of course, that's total bullshit, though. I mean, if your superior officer tells you to gun down children, you fucking say no, right? I mean, or don't join the military. It's that simple. Now, then again, we're talking about Nazi Germany. I don't know if was there conscription in Nazi Germany? I'm not exactly sure. I assume there was. There had to have been, right? I mean,
I don't know.
Anyways,
they did war. Yeah.
So it turns out, though, I don't know if you knew this, Michael, but they found I think it was most cases have been found that claiming superior orders does not mean that a soldier is not culpable. As far as like war crimes go and stuff like that, international law, a soldier is absolutely culpable for the things that they do, even if they were ordered to do so. So this brings me to like what I want to talk about today. Wait, let's get back in the time machine. We need to go back to our current time. Oh man, that turd would not flush. Anyways, the question I really want to raise today is whether that defense works today in America. You know, people constantly say that police are just doing their job. While that's accurate. Many cops wanted to serve and protect. So what's the barrier here? You know what I mean? At what point does it become, just following orders? I don't know. Where is the moral line there, right? If cops are doing what they're supposed to do and enforcing victimless crimes that I don't really believe are crimes, naturally, but they are crimes on paper. At what point is it wrong? You know what I mean? Is it wrong the whole time or what? I mean, are they culpable for their actions? I mean, what do you think, Michael?
What do I think?
Like,
yeah, I mean, it is very, I would say, Nazi-esque because, history will tell, history. Time is the ultimate teller of rights and wrongs, and now obviously we look back over Nazi Germany and be like, man, that is crazy. How do those people even fall for that? But the argument that people use, like, hey, if you just followed the law, you wouldn't get shot. That exact same argument was used by the Nazis, and like the Jews didn't fight back, and look what happened to them.
Right, and it's so tough because I believe that people do have the right to fight back against unjust enforcement of laws, right? Or not even unjust enforcement of laws, but unjust laws, period, right? But at the same time, like, as far as self-preservation goes, to me, violence is definitely not the answer. I mean, it does not get you anywhere, right? I mean, if you have the full force of the state coming down upon you because you decided to defend yourself against a corrupt cop, chances are you're going to die. That's generally what happens. But you raise an interesting point, I think, like, the whole, if you don't break the law, you'll be okay. Well, if they pass a law tomorrow saying that every white male needs to be murdered, and if you see one and you don't murder them, you're breaking the law, and police can kill you, or is everybody going to abide by that? You know what I mean? What point do people understand that legal and moral are not the same thing, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And people seem to not understand that, I think, in today's day and age, and that's really spooky and maybe evil. So, happy Halloween. I mean, I don't know. There's been so much of this stuff about police in the news lately, and I follow a lot of people on Facebook who I get updates all the time where they're out in public and they start live streaming on Facebook, and they're just like videotaping police officers because they know that if it's the police's word against a supposed criminal, the criminal loses. I mean, I think it's like 97% of all cases in which the victim, in which a citizen is on trial, 97% of those cases are found guilty, right? Yeah. So, I mean, the system is rigged against the people. So
yeah, I did read an article recently this last week about in Colorado they're gonna start finding cops
like $15,000. I think it's ridiculous. Yeah. It's like a bunch of money.
it's a proposed bill right now, but I don't know.
That to me is awesome.
Yeah, especially like
because it's not. They know that it's not like that. These cops probably won't be able to pay that money off. It's like all that it is to say, don't you fucking do it. Like that's all that it is.
And it especially like in a state like Oklahoma where it's a one-party consent to record. That definitely kind of puts the power back in the hands of the people. But my question would be, because that now is a law that on paper, which in reality, if you were recording someone else and they were like, well, I don't want you to record me, and be like, well, tough, I'm recording you. Is that what is the morality of that law?
You mean, like, do you think that it violates the non-aggression principle to record someone who doesn't want to be recorded? Is that what you're asking?
Well, no, I'm asking because essentially on paper they're giving us a freedom that we already technically should have.
Oh, I get what you mean. I think that it's not really necessarily a freedom that they're giving. It is a muzzle that they're putting on the police. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. Like I don't know who proposed that bill, but I think it's a muzzle. That's what I think that it is. That's the way that I see it. It's a muzzle for the police officers, and it's not really to confirm freedom, which I mean, in my opinion, can be bullshit. It's more so to stop the unjust nature of police officers shutting down people who are recording them. And they're public servants, so they don't really have a choice anyways, And as far as I'm concerned, public property, you can videotape whatever the hell you want on public property. I mean, that's just my opinion. Yeah. Tragedy of the commons right there. So anyways, that's what we had happen with the Nazis, where they just say they claim they're following orders or just enforcing the law, or everything that the Nazis did was legal, and it needs to be reiterated to people constantly because they seem to not understand that, and they seem to not be able to transfer that to their own life experiences here in America and the laws that we have. And I think that you need to. This is not Godwin's law or whatever. It's just a fact. You need to understand that legal is not moral. Okay, it's not the same thing, because there can be a immoral law placed upon you. And if you're a conservative and you don't believe that, well, do you like the Affordable Care Act? Because you better start liking it if you believe that, because it's totally moral, right? If you believe that moral and legal are the same thing, it's totally moral to be forced to pay for something that you don't want to pay for. So, spooky, the Affordable Care Act, vampire teeth. All right, everybody. I'm back. Michael had to step out real quick. He's getting his waxed. Anyways, so here I don't know if you guys know this, but during Halloween, during the month of October, zombies of old people come back to life. They're zombies, but they're back to life. So here to join us, since we decided to talk about Nazis, is an SS officer of the Nazis. His name is Heinrich Bootlick. How's it going, Heinrich?
Where do I sit?
You sit down. Like, just sit down. Yeah, just go ahead and sit down in front of the mic. That'd be good.
Okay. This is a microphone?
A microphone, yeah. It's a microphone, so.
Wow.
You can sit here.
The times have changed.
Yeah, everything's it's different. So did you have microphones back in the day, or are you just now learning about them now?
Yes, we had microphones. We used for the propaganda of the fear. Hell the fear. Yeah, it's just so weird. Things are so fancy now. It is. I would like to say I am starting to see that the 1,000-year right did not succeed. But
It
you
did not
know,
succeed. It did not succeed. There's a reason it didn't succeed, though. You realize that, right? You guys were.
well,
Go ahead. What?
no, I apologize. Please continue.
You do realize it didn't work because you guys like stretched yourself too far, and you had really crazy ideologies. I don't know if you understand that.
Well,
or not.
so you say, okay? Pardon me.
So, do you? What do you think? Let me just ask this. I know that a lot of you guys ended up going on the Nuremberg trials. Did you make it to the Nuremberg trials, or what?
Yes, I did make it to the Nuremberg. It was a fabulous trip. I took lots of pictures. I wore my uniform. Went to some meetings.
It says here that you blew your own brains out at the end of it. Is that? I guess that'd be why you got a shotgun haircut.
Well, you don't have to bring up the dark parts of the history. I mean, it is Halloween. I do love the Halloween. It's my opportunity to come check on the state of affairs.
Let me ask you this: have you been since you've been risen back from the dead this October? Have you followed any of the American election?
Yes. I have seen that Fraulein Clinton she is running for the chancellorship, which is, in my opinion, very progressive for a woman to be running for the chancellorship. And then also you have Mr. Trump. He also is running for the chancellorship.
And so, have you picked a candidate yet? I mean, both of them seem pretty authoritarian to us here at Liberty Lampoon. I was just concerned about maybe the Nazis have a certain candidate that they're choosing, or maybe both of them seem good. What is your opinion on that?
Well, I very much like the Trump, because he does not like the blacks or the Hispanics. He is really for the Aryan race. I mean, if you have to really, if you want to make America great again, you must really really just allow the superior race to really come to its own.
Okay, this is really getting to a point where I thought it would go. First of all, when you're talking about Trump, you don't have to put your arm out in the Nazi salute. I don't understand why. Go ahead and put your arm down. You're bumping the mic.
I apologize. It's habit. Sorry.
No, so then what is your... Go ahead. Yeah, just put it down. So what is your opinion on Clinton, though? Do you have an opinion on her?
Well, if you absolutely put a gun to my head and made me choose right now, I would choose Fraulein Clinton, because despite her tactics are very, very closely associated with that of the Fuhrer, because she likes to say, we are going to unite and we are going to work together, but behind the scenes she has a lot of the same ideals as Mr. Trump. But so she unites the people to take out the people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
yes. It's very admirable of her.
This is horrific. Let me ask you a couple more questions.
I'm having a great time. This is just really great. USA.
Yeah. this is the 2,000-year Reich or whatever you guys wanted, I guess. Anyways, I wanted to really get down to brass tacks here. What I was going to ask was, I don't know if you've noticed since you've been
brass
awoken.
tax? Is that I don't? You pay money for the rounds you use?
I
So,
guess.
Or do you use more brass, pay less tax? Like,
Well, it's a figure of speech, so I mean, I don't know.
If I shoot 10 Jews, I pay more tax if I shoot 5, or is it the vice versa?
Well, we don't shoot Jews anymore. They're pretty
Well, that's
protected.
just no fun.
They have their own country now, so
What?
yeah, they have their own country now, Israel.
Oh, Scheiße.
Oh my God! Look, chill out, guy. Let's move on to something that you won't be.
What has
offended by.
happened? What has happened to the world?
Well, we've gotten a little bit more inclusive.
You
and
love
less violent.
the Jews. You love the Negroes. The Jews have their own country.
Yeah,
Scheiße.
just chill out on all that, please. We don't really want that much bigotry in our podcast. I'd appreciate it if you just kind of chilled out just a little bit.
Are you going to put a gun to my head and makes me say what you want me to say? Because the Fuhrer's already done that to me, and
Are you calling me a fascist? Hey, look, okay,
I could do it again.
let's get on to the main topic here. So I don't know if you've noticed since you've been awoken, this October.
Yes.
I will be happy when you go back to sleep. But let's say no. Let's talk about this. American police have been kind of under the gun here. I'm wondering if you could give me a little insight on, do you think that there is any relation to American police enforcing unjust laws and what you had to do?
Well, I don't necessarily know what under the gun means. I assume
they've been being criticized.
They have lots of guns. Lots of guns, and
yes,
and
heavy military equipment. Yes.
Ooh. So the police have the same equipment as the military?
Yeah, kind of like the SS, actually.
Yeah. Yes. This works very well for controlling the public. Unfortunately, I do not know if American law provides for it, but in the SS, when we would find
the Juden
lawbreaker, yes, the Juden, as well as just lawbreakers, if they did not have appropriate papers, if they were out after the curfew, we could just bang bang there in the street.
Oh God! Oh my God!
And no one says a thing because we are in control. So
yeah. Would you call that patriotism or what? What would you call that?
I would guess. Well, I've heard this term listening to the ISIS called radicalization. In America, I believe you do call it a patriotism. In Nazi Germany, we called it loyalty to the party of the people. Although we did kill the people.
Oh, yeah.
They never saw it coming. Oh, jeez.
I don't think I can take any more of this, Heinrich. You're very violent. You are a very violent individual. It's clear that your time in your dirt bed has not helped you understand the tragedy of the things that you have done. If you could apologize for one thing that you did as an SS officer, what would that be?
You apologize for one thing. I would probably, I think, even after the Nuremberg, I still think they were wrong. And if I apologized for anything, I would apologize to the Fuhrer for really just letting him down and not killing more citizens. In just really progressing our goal of the 1,000-year right and the Aryan race. That's I think what I would apologize
Okay,
for.
I can't take any more of this bullshit.
Well,
I'm sorry, Heinrich. It was great to hear you. It was great to have you on, I guess.
I thought was you not gonna? I was going to speak as the methods with which we executed not executed. We punished the law breakers.
How did you do that?
Well, most often than not, we just bang bang in the street, and then we would
Okay.
test. We would test the blood and find substances, and we would just say, "Oh, they're the criminals," and so it was good. We never worried.
That sounds very familiar. This has just been horrific. Thank you so much, Heinrich, for, I guess, being willing to come on.
Thank you for summoning me this October.
I
And
wish
yeah,
I hadn't. I wish I hadn't.
This is the best October I've had in quite some time. The last time I had this much fun in an October was October 1943, I believe. We just had one hell of a crazy night, you know what I mean? Just lots of bang bang, and lots of hangings, and lots of gas. It was pretty trippy.
Wow.
But,
This is
yeah.
it's been terrible. All right, on to our grand phallus of the week and our Halloween special character, Woodrow Wilson. Man, what a dick. I just want to say that at the very top here. I think that I think that Woodrow Wilson may be responsible for everything that every person in America hates ever. Like, I mean, pretty much. He was the 28th president of the United States, but before that, he was the governor of that shithole New Jersey. So,
Chris Christie.
yeah. Following in his footsteps, Chris Christie. Jesus Christ. Fat tub of piece of shit. Whatever. Anyways, as governor in New Jersey, he signed the New Jersey Sterilization Act, which sterilized, quote, degenerates, end quote, to decrease the burden on, quote, the state, end quote. What? How did
I'd just like to clarify that degenerates is a relative term. They also
It's subjective.
Imbeciles, and they had tests to determine
political opposition, opposition. You know, he was a Democrat. Republicans, you know, he sterilized a lot of Republicans. Basically, anyone that he didn't like got sterilized. You know,
Yeah.
what a piece of shit. There's horror stories from that whole segment of history whenever there was sterilization going on in the United States, and most people don't even know about it. They think Nazi Germany. And,
Yep.
you know,
Well,
Heinrich would have gotten on board with this for sure.
Yeah.
I can't believe
Well,
you
yeah,
missed
but-
Heinrich. It was a shame that you missed him.
Oh, yeah. And he left a little goo in my seat from his
Oh, that's shitty.
deteriorating ass. But yeah, no. Well, it's funny because like this whole like sterilization and led to eugenics and all that stuff. The Nazis used that. They got the idea from America. And same
Woodrow
thing,
Wilson.
Yep, and same thing with the way we handled the Native Americans. The Hitler loved that idea and used it for how to get rid of the Jews. But
Yeah. But
so,
he
you know,
wasn't,
we're just-
Hitler wasn't as bad as Woodrow Wilson. Anyways,
we're trendsetters.
as
we're
president, Woodrow Wilson's progressive policies are mind-blowingly evil. I mean, he established the Federal Reserve, which has devalued our currency. I mean, pretty much to jack shit. I mean, it almost doesn't mean anything. He instituted the Federal Farm Loan Act. You know, that subsidizes farms. It costs lots of money. That's how you have Monsanto right now. I mean, really. He instituted
Ethanol.
ethanol. He instituted the federal income tax, which for that, I think he should be crucified if we could go
Taxation
back in
is
time.
theft.
Taxation is theft,
Taxation
guys.
is theft.
Yep. Swearing it would never exceed 3%. The federal income tax would never exceed 3%. But soon after, I mean, during his presidency, when the U.S. entered World War I, which is questionable, I mean, why we entered, it immediately was raised. I mean, immediately within his presidency. So that's just worth mentioning.
And under his really, the government in preparation for World War I took huge control of resources and started allocating all different just all different resources from the American people. And
wasn't he started the Espionage and the Sedition Act back up, didn't he?
Yep, because it was targeted towards Germans. And,
it was, but it was anti-war people too. People who like voices in the media or the papers, I should say, voices in the papers and stuff. He targeted those people who were spreading like anti-war rhetoric, right? Which blows my mind because he ran on a candidacy of being anti-war, like neutrality, no involvement, and got reelected. So it's just that's an important fact, I think, that most people don't know, is that censorship it really dumbed down America, and I mean it plunged us into some of the. I mean he used those acts to target his political opposition, and that is exactly that is so Hitler-esque. I mean, Hitler-esque.
And the people who spoke out against the war and stuff like that, I can guarantee you they were classified as degenerates, and they got
and then they got sterilized. Snip, 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 snip. You're no babies. Also, he instituted a new form of slavery in the United States, the Conscription Act. That's why we have the draft. He also instituted the Lever Act, which essentially granted government control to all agricultural means during wartime. That's what you were talking about with taking control of resources. He was a vicious racist. Most people don't know that. He segregated things even further. He removed black officials, left and right, that were in office and everything. And another thing, I think something that's good that's been happening lately is because he was so progressive, there's a lot of colleges that have halls or libraries or whatever named after him. And there's a lot of those people who, after learning the history of Woodrow Wilson and how viciously racist he was, they are removing his name from those things. I think that he should be we need to remember this guy. That's why we're talking about him, because he's a real piece of shit. But I think that it's important that we end the idea that somehow he was a good guy. And there's this quote that goes around about him where he's supposedly apologizing for instituting the Federal Reserve and the income tax. I don't know if you've seen that quote. That's bullshit. That quote, he never said that ever. And the date that it's attributed to, he was already gone, basically, not out of office, on his deathbed, because he was on his deathbed for a long time.
Yeah, and with this whole with them confiscating resources and starting to reallocate them by what the government chose, a bunch of over 5,000 new agencies popped up to help regulate all this stuff. And really, they went under Woodrow Wilson, the military-industrial complex was actually founded.
Yeah, pretty much.
Whether they knew it at the time.
I think he knew it. I think for sure he knew it. He knew what he was doing. He knew that he could perpetuate this whole war scheme forever. But. Real quick, I said that he was kind of incapacitated. I think it's important to note that there was a part of his presidency where he really wasn't even the president. He was still in office, but he was basically a vegetable. laying in bed, and his wife basically ran things.
Ran the country. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, she basically ran it. And, it's also important to note that Woodrow Wilson admired fascism in the, I can't even remember what country he was looking at, but like there are quotes attributed to him where he looked at fascism and was like, this is the way that America needs to go. And then he just kind of like adopted a whole bunch of socialist progressive policies. And, this country is so fucked up because of it, in my opinion. I think if there was any question as to why this country is so fucked up, this is probably a big answer. I mean, would you agree with that, Michael?
I would. I think I would, yeah.
I think I'll take it further than that. Woodrow Wilson is an evil fucking human being. Institutionalized racism, theft, slavery, silencing of opposition, eugenics. This guy was literally a fucking devil, Michael. And he was considered a, quote, devout Presbyterian, end quote. If this tells you anything, it should be that, as always, Christianity justifies the state and calls it the greater good. So in other words, don't give your money to the poor personally. Just give it to the state. They'll take care of it. Like we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
How we view that as kind of like a really shitty like outlook, But that tax that you support so much, yeah, that was put there by a racist, evil, big brother motherfucker. So it's just worth pointing out. Woodrow Wilson, least favorite president of all time. I mean, I don't like any of them, mostly. I think I like William Henry Harrison because he only had a month to fuck up the country. But other than that, I mean, I think Woodrow Wilson, I think he's a bad bitch. So any thoughts on Woodrow Wilson, Michael? Let me hear what you have to say about it.
Give me 1 second. Well, I have here in front of me just that Woodrow Wilson wasn't that awesome of a person because under the Espionage Act and just really
Sedition Act.
The Sedition Act, this limiting of free speech. One story, a Ohio farmer, his name was John White, he was sentenced to 21 months in prison for making the comparison of the murder of innocent women and children that the Nazis were doing.
Not Nazis, the Germans.
The Germans, yeah, they weren't Nazis at this point. The Germans were doing, and the U.S. was using the administration was using that as the reason why we need to go into war. He compared that to the U.S. war in the Philippines in from 1899 to 1903. That U.S. soldiers were doing the same thing the Germans were doing. So why should we go to war? And then a social party leader, Eugene Debs, was convicted in 1918 under the Espionage Act for delivering a anti-war speech, and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. And while in prison, ran for president in 1920. And received 900,000 votes.
Which that's a huge amount for the time, I'm certain. I mean, that's got to be a large amount for the time period. But yeah, man, that's some messed up stuff. But it just goes to show you that people were not scared. You know what I mean? And that's why, like, here on this show, that's something that we like to do is call out these statist pigs, right?
Yeah.
And people should do that more often. I mean, even more so than voting. The right to free speech is something you should exercise, even if it's tough, more so, in my opinion.
Yeah. And, like, during World War I, the Socialist Party, Bernie Sanders, but, yeah, they... it's a lot like it kind of is today. They're saying was rich man's war, poor man's fight.
Right.
Because even 100 years ago they knew that this going to war like this didn't necessarily.
It's not a fight for freedom, really.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of my favorite quotes. It's actually from a band that we have played with. I say played with. We used to play in a rock and roll band. Anyways, they have this lyric that it repeats, and I love it. It's old men keep dreaming of battles for young men to fight. And I love that quote because I always feel like that's true. And I think you could just point at John McCain. I mean, really, you could point at John McCain. Or people like Woodrow Wilson, these guys who are elitist hacks. They're the power elite. And they're doing these wars for other reasons that have nothing to do with freedom, have nothing to do with America. And really, they don't care who dies as long as the outcome is more cash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or more interest for the U.S. And we have plenty of things here that we could cultivate, plenty of things here that we could provide and deal with, and in free trade could be better suited in a country that was not so aggressive. So
yeah, and I mean, it just really goes to show, like in our current presidential election, that neither party is anti-war. And they both just want to, go to war and continue the march of the military machine, and
right,
it's just kind of depressing. But
yeah, well, there you go, guys. Woodrow Wilson, real piece of shit. So I think we're gonna try to get a hold of him on a Ouija board. Maybe we can get some answers there.
Ooh,
spooky. All right. So I guess we're gonna go ahead and try to.
I got the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, it's weird, like in Halloween season, to use this Ouija board. But I think we should go ahead and do this. I want to try to see if we can get Woodrow to respond to us. Let's go ahead and try.
Okay.
Put your hands on the board, on the this little thing right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are our hands supposed to be touching, or are we just hold this side, you hold that side?
Don't hold my hand. Let's go ahead and let's see if we can seek him out.
Okay.
Are there any spirits here? Are there any spirits here? Oh, it's moving to yes. Huh.
Did you move that?
No, I didn't move it. Weird.
Are you moving it?
No. Let's see. Okay, so what should we ask next? What is the name of the spirit?
You're totally pushing this. You're pushing this thing right now, right?
Oh.
You're moving it.
I'm not. Oh. D.
Wood?
Whoa. I. E. Oh my God.
What?
Woody. I guess it's done. Who's Woody? That's weird. Is Woodrow Wilson here? Oh shit. Move to yes. I'm getting really. You feel that? It's like a cold chill rushed over me. Jesus, what is that feeling?
Aaron, what's that? Oh my God, Aaron, what's happening?
It's me, Woodrow Wilson.
Oh my God,
back from
Aaron.
hell to spread my great ideas.
Okay, are you? What? I don't. Why are you on the ceiling?
It's
Aaron?
me, Woodrow
Aaron.
Wilson. Michael,
Woodrow.
Aaron isn't here anymore. It's me, Woodrow Wilson.
Like President Woodrow Wilson?
You can call me Woody. I prefer Woody.
This is okay. Well, okay. If you really are Woodrow Wilson, what president were you? Like what number?
It's been so long. I've been in the grave for so long. I can't remember. Hold on. Let me just think about that real quick.
Summon your spirit.
I was the 28th president.
Okay. All right. Okay. Take it. It's as you, Woodrow Wilson. This is a little creepy, but can I ask you a couple questions? Is that?
Go ahead, Michael.
Well, as a dead former president, what do you think of America right now?
America has nearly fully adopted all of my fantastic ideas. I'm so pleased with their work. nationalize everything, and keep the Negroes at arm's length by promising them a better life, but actually keeping them in servitude.
Well, that's a little
I will have
racist.
control, and if you disobey me or speak against my plans, I will have your scrotum cut from shaft to taint, you brown monster.
Oh. So, well then, what do you think of the police brutality in America right now?
There is no God, only the state.
You're really starting to scare me, Aaron. Aaron,
There
Aaron,
is no Aaron. This is Woodrow Wilson. The state will be powered forever. Go ahead, ask me another question, Michael.
Well, do you want a fascist president or a communist president?
Fascism and communism are like two bi-curious teenage boys comparing their penises. Both seem awkward at first, but it will eventually fill a similar hole.
Woodrow Wilson, dude, you are creepy.
Now that I have control over your host, I can flood the airwaves with the glorious message of equality. Everyone will be equally enslaved, Michael.
This is Liberty Lampoon, Woodrow Wilson.
I will institute my true plans that I've had since the very beginning.
Was the military-industrial complex part of those plans?
I have a dream of a truly symbiotic America. Every human will be sewed ass to mouth and then fed as one organism.
Wait, you're just describing the movie Human Centipede. That's
What? My dream has already been accomplished. Tax them to death. Release the hounds of a taxation.
No, it didn't actually happen. It was a film. It was a movie.
Well, you've pulled it up on the screen right now. It looks like it really happened. But look at that. A strange little man is sewing people together.
That's just Hollywood, President Wilson.
Hollywood? What's Hollywood?
You know what Hollywood is, in California?
No, I know what you're talking about, but it doesn't make any sense. That's as real. What sort of portal are we looking through right now to see this awesome man sewing people together ass to mouth?
It's just special effects. It's not actually happening. It's not happening. It's not real.
I don't understand. Let's move on, Michael.
Unlike your taxation, that is a very real threat.
How dare you?
Have you seen how big it's gotten? The government has gotten since your death.
Bleed them dry. Force them to serve. This is mine. Anything for the Empire. I will haunt this podcast till the end of time, and we will meet on the plains of Megiddo, where our final battle will echo through the galaxy. I will punish your rectum with the greatest income tax this world has ever seen. Freedom is a lie.
President Wilson, aren't you afraid that with huge taxes, the people might fight back? I mean, we've made huge advancements in guns since your death. Have you seen those?
Nobody needs rifles, Michael. How else can we ensure that the peasants will allow us to rape and pillage their communities? Income tax you to death.
So you're trying to de-arm the people and take their guns?
Whatever is necessary.
That sounds very like the Democrat Party to me, President Wilson.
I was a Democrat, Michael.
Well, I'm aware.
You are the one
that.
who brought me back. Do you realize that, Michael? You are the one who brought me back by tampering with this Ouija board.
Well,
I'm not going anywhere. I will have control.
No, you cannot stay here on Liberty Lampoon, Woodrow Wilson. You need to go back.
Go ahead, try to get me out of here, Michael.
I'm gonna exorcise you, Wilson, out of Aaron.
Give it your best shot.
The power of Christ compels you.
Oh,
Do I need to throw more holy water on you, or the
I don't
power
know.
of Christ compels you?
oh, that will never work on me.
Wait,
I am a state demon, Woody Wilson.
then your weakness is taxation.
What?
Taxation is theft, Wilson. Taxation is theft. 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 Taxation is
God.
theft.
Oh,
Taxation
oh
is
my
theft.
God! What happened? What happened?
Where'd you
Oh
go?
my God! I don't know
Where
what
did you
happened.
go?
Michael.
You were
It was horrible.
Possessed.
It was horrible. I was like transported to Somalia. There were no roads. It was crazy. Woodrow Wilson was there, and he was screaming at me that taxation is the price you pay to live in a free society. It was horrific. Oh my God. And then I saw you in the light, pulling me back out, saying taxation is theft. Thank you, Michael.
Did you feel freedom rush over you?
Yeah, it was incredible. Liberty Lampoon episode number 8 was playing, and then episode number 9. It was incredible. Oh
So
my
you-
God,
you
what
were-
happened? What happened? I didn't hear
Yes.
anything.
You were possessed by the ghost of Woodrow Wilson.
Oh my,
And-
what?
He was saying how awesome the expansion of government is and taxation, and he got stuck on the idea of human centipede. It was weird. I don't.
Well, I think maybe
One-
we should reconsider, using a Ouija board with spooky music playing. I don't know where that music's coming from, but Greg, God damn it, Greg. It's Greg. You're fired, Greg.
Is that playing through the headphones?
Yeah, it's playing through the headphones, Greg.
My bad.
That's thanks, Greg. You're really creeping us out here.
Well, guys, I guess you get the picture. Woodrow
Yeah.
Wilson is a real fucking dickhead. So.
I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. For my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, he did the monster mash.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to this Halloween episode of Liberty Lampoon.
Liberty Lampoon.
Make sure that you go check out our website, libertylampoon.com. All of our stuff is there.
Lampoon.
Okay, you can chill out with the vampire
Okay,
shit,
sorry.
Mike. Follow us on Twitter at Liberty Lampoon. Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it.
Give us a like, give us a share, Facebook, Twitter. Hit us up with questions, thoughts, comments, concerns, pitches, moans, complaints,
Yeah.
all of it. We want to hear it.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
And this is the Liberty Lampoon podcast. Signing out. We wish you a very spooktacular Halloween.
Good
And
God.
remember to go vote.
Don't vote.
Were about to arrive with their vocal group, the Crypt Kicker Five.
Played the mash,
They played the Monster Mash.
the monster mash.
It was a graveyard
They
smash.
played the mash,
It caught on in a flash.
they played the mash.
They played the Monster Mash. Out from his coffin, Drax's voice did ring. Seemed he was troubled by just one thing. Opened the lid and shook his fist and said, "Whatever happened to my Transylvania twist?
It's now the mash,
It's now the Monster Mash.
the monster mash.
And it's a graveyard
It's now
smash.
the mash,
It's caught on in a flash.
it's now the mash.
It's now the Monster Mash. Now everything's cool. Drax a part of the band, and my Monster Mash is the hit of the land. For you, the living, this mash was meant to. When you get to my door, tell them Boris sent me.
Then you can mash
Then you can monster mash
the monster mash.
and do my graveyard
Then you
smash.
can mash.
You'll catch on in a flash.
Then you can mash.
Then you can monster